This is 4.5 synthetic division. Synthetic division is another way to divide polynomials, but only works if the denominator is linear, meaning it can't have x squared or x cubed or x to the fourth or anything bigger than that. It can only have x or something x plus something. So it can only be linear. So what we do with synthetic division is we start off with that denominator and we set it equal to 0 and solve. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides and get x equals 8. Then I'm going to create like this half box. Looks like a really weird L. And I'm going to put that 8 just outside the upper left-hand corner of the box. The coefficients of the top, so the numbers in front of the x's in the numerator, are going to go across the top here. So the x squared is 1x squared. The minus 7x has a minus 7. And the minus 11 just gets written over again. Our first step is to take that 1, the first number, and just drop it straight down and put it below the box. Then we take the 1 and we multiply by the 8 and put that number in the next column. Then we take the negative 7 and the 8 and we add them together. So negative 7 plus 8 is 1. And then we repeat the process. We multiply the 1 times 8 and get 8. And then we add negative 11 plus 8, which is negative 3. The negative 3, I'm going to put a little box around this because this is our remainder. And the 1s are the coefficients of the answer. The remainder is always going to be that number on the right-hand side. The next number is going to be your x to the 0 power. And then the next number is going to be your x to the first power. And those are going to increase from left to right. And we'll see that here when we start to get into some other problems. But my answer is going to be 1x to the first plus 1x to the 0. And then our remainder is going to be plus remainder over the original denominator. Okay, so this remainder went here, and this right here is the original denominator. So that gets very busy. It makes the process look a lot more difficult than it is. Let's try another one that's not quite as busy with arrows and explanations. So for the next example, I'm going to take the n minus 6 and set it equal to 0. And I'm going to solve it. So I'm going to add 6 and get n equals 6. Then I'm going to take the 6. I'm going to put it just outside the upper right-hand or upper left-hand corner of this box. And I'm going to put the coefficients of the top, the numerator, across the top of the box. So 1n squared minus 1n minus 29. I drop down the first 1. So that's going to be 1 times 6, which is 6. The 6 goes in the next column. Then I add, negative 1 plus 6 is 5. Then I multiply 5 times 6, which is 30. That goes in the last column. And then I add, negative 29 plus 30 is 1. That 1 is my denominator. Or I'm sorry, not my denominator, my remainder. Let's try a different dir. The 5 is my constant. So we're going to say no x or x to the 0. And then the 1 is just my x. So this is going to be 1x plus 5 plus, and then I'm going to do 1 over the original denominator. Now I've made one small mistake because I don't want to use x's for this problem, because this problem used n's. Let's try another one. So again, I'm going to take x plus 5, set it equal to 0, and solve this. So subtract the 5, get x equals negative 5, and put that in the upper left-hand corner just outside my box. Then I take the numerator, the coefficients in the numerator, so the numbers in front. I've got 1x squared plus 10x plus 18. The first number comes straight down, just goes below the line. Then I multiply. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. Then I add. 10 plus negative 5 is 5. Then I multiply. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. And then I add. 18 plus negative 25 is negative 7. The negative 7 is my remainder. That last number is always your remainder. This is going to be the term that doesn't have an x. And this is the term that has an x. So we're going to have 1x plus 5 plus negative 7 over x plus 5. Let's keep practicing. So this next one has k's, but that's okay. We're going to work the same process. I'm going to say k minus 1 equals 0. Add the 1 and get k equals 1. That 1 goes outside the box. The coefficients go in the top, so I'm going to say 1k squared minus 7k plus 10. The first number gets carried down, and then I multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. Outside the box, we multiply, so negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Inside the box, we add, so 10 plus negative 6 is 4. 4 is the remainder. The negative 6 isn't going to have a variable, and the 1 will just be k. So we're going to have k minus 6 plus 4 over k minus 1. For the next example, we're going to add a term. So now we have 4 terms in the top, but the bottom is still linear. It's got 2 terms. So I'm going to set that equal to 0. Solve for x. So I get x equals negative 4. And we're going to do negative 4 in the upper left-hand corner just outside the box. The coefficients are 2x cubed plus 8x squared minus 3x minus 12. Our first move is to bring the 2 down, and then we multiply. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. 8 plus negative 8 is 0. 0 times negative 4 is 0. Negative 3 plus 0 is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. And negative 12 plus 12 is 0. So this time we got a remainder of 0. The negative 3 is going to be our constant, or not have an x. The 0 has the x. And this time, because we've got an extra number, that's going to be x squared. So our answer is going to be 2x squared plus 0x minus 3, or just 2x squared minus 3. For the last example that we're going to do, we're actually missing a term in the top, but let's deal with the setup first. So I'm going to have x plus 4 equals 0. I'll subtract 4 and get x equals negative 4. So we'll set this up with our half a box. And then for the numerator, I've got 1x cubed plus 2x squared. I don't have a term with just x, so I'm going to put a 0 as a placeholder. And then I've got my 32. Okay, so this 2 I'll label as placeholder. So then we'll start. We'll take the first number, bring it down, and we'll multiply. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Inside the box we add. 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. Then we multiply. Negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. 0 plus 8 is 8. 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. And 32 plus negative 32 is 0. So we don't have a remainder on this one. So 8 is our constant. It doesn't have an x. The negative 2 is going to have the x. And then the 1 is going to have the x squared. So we're going to have 1x squared minus 2x plus 8.